2027. Well, this session is attended by Their Excellencies Minister of Environment, Dr. Yasmin Fouad, and Minister of Youth and Sports, Dr. Ashraf Sobhi.
At the other side of the road, we planned the same thematic day would take place, getting those voices heard because they are part of that process. And without them, we will still be leaving some or at least one behind, which we didn't want to do. That's the first thing. The second thing, systemic and radical action. We wouldn't be doing an implementation if we're not starting by ourselves as a government of Egypt. The effort that has been done to raise the awareness and engage the youth is immense. Thanks to the UN partners and thanks to Elena, to the UNDP and the UNFPA for all the engagement of the youth that had been done throughout the past 11 months so that we can engage them properly and systemically. Last but not least, without implementation, we're not moving ahead. We will be talking. Part of COP27 is the innovation hub and the startup and the entrepreneurs. Can we be part of the solution or only we talk as a youth and be part of the problem? And for that reason, we find that in the Solutions Day, which is the last day of the COP, a number of startups was there. Last but not least, I'll take the advantage that Dr. Mahmoud is here, that even at the local level in Egypt, in order to lead by example, we had that initiative of the Green and Smart Initiative of Projects, giving a big, huge bulk for the youth in local governorates, not only to present the climate action, but present ideas for local adaptation methods. Because without adaptation, and without the youth being aware and being part, working hand in hand with the private sector, with the academia, with the government, we're not doing any good. Together for implementation is our slogan. And we're sure we're getting there, and we will prove that we will be able to implement because we are all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasmin. Can I now request His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Sobhi, Minister for Youth and Sports, to please comment.
Good morning, everybody. Just I welcome all of you to be here in these great sessions. But first of all, I have to say thank you for the whole youth that they implement the COI-17. I appreciate what you have done. It's a very great job. So the young team, please, if you stand up to say thank you, they are here. Yeah, thank you, Liz and Zan. And even the 5 warriors, I'm speaking about the 5 NGO, the group from Egypt to join the whole youth in COI-17. Please stand up. Yes. So. Actually, they have been for more than 6 months to work day and night and connected with subsidized from the government sometimes, especially from the Minister of Foreign Affairs as well, the Minister of Environment with the Minister of Youth and Sports. So I appreciate, and even for the amazing 3 days we have been in the Youth and Sports City, eventually we have the final recommendations to submit it here to speak to the 27. Because we are here, just I have 2 hats. The first hat representing the youth, which I'm very happy to be with them every time, everywhere, to think about the future, present as well. The other hat, one of the team from the government, by the Prime Minister, His Excellency Mustafa Madbouli, and the whole teams, but the presidency of the 27, actually His Excellency Minister Sameh Shokri, Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well technically with my colleague, which I'm very honorable to be with her here, Dr. Yasmin, Minister of Environment. Thank you for Mr. Simon still. You came with us the 5 of the recommendations of the COI, so I appreciate you being with us. And Dr. Mahmoud Muhyiddin, you did a good job from the beginning with us, with the youth. Distinguished guests and youth of the world, dearest colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to be standing in front of you to inaugurate the Youth and Future Generations Day. From the day Egypt was announced to be hosting the 27th conference of the parts, we knew it was essentially not just so, but inevitable to have a Youth and Future Generations Day. The Ministry of Youth and Sports worked tirelessly day and night with Egypt's youth to lead the planning and executions of today. The youth of the world play a pivotal role in climate actions and ensuring that we have a better future. As a matter of fact, it is not choice to include youth negotiations, policy making and decisions making process. It is must. And so I welcome you all to today's thematic days, Youth and Future Generations Day at COP27. Actually, before I'm going through it, just I give you something because of, I want to tell you that the whole head of the committee from the Egyptian parliament, they insist to be here to join you. Thank you very much, because of you have the whole time to go around, but all of you said we have to join and be with the international youth. Thank you very much. You're being here. Thank you. You have to. As well as, actually, I'm very glad to have this kind of cooperation with the whole United Nations agency. Ms. Paulina, thank you, and Frederica, and everyone here, thank you for everything you have done and you give to the youth. Thank you very much. And my colleague, Minister of Youth and Sport from Gabon, thank you very much for your coming. Ms. Ambassador Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazala, the Arab Committee, and thank you very much for coming and join us. Thank you for all of you, everybody. I am a firm believer that the future does not start tomorrow or the next day, but rather it starts from the very same minutes we live in now. The future is now. Youth are the ones that live in the times of climate change. They are the ones that experience the change that occur on a naturally basis. Ultimately, they are the ones that will get to experience the much worse changes tomorrow. They are involved in a very sector of society, and every level of expertise they have, every bite of knowledge that is necessary to use to us to make the correct decisions to ensure that climate change does not take as a predicted course, but rather be complete and defeated. They have a voice. It is our job as a presidencies, as a ministers, as a governmental officials to ensure that their voice is heard, appreciated, and listened to in every given climate actions, negotiations. So today, we are appreciating and acknowledging every opinion that present with us. Here is this every moment that speaks up for enable causes. Today we are shedding lights on the youth of the world to show us and tell us what they demand and ask for the save our planet as much as it is there today is the day we give the floor and the stage to the youth for the world. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, I welcome you, your all distinguished guests, dearest colleagues, Your Excellency, to the Youth and the Future Generations Day of the COP27. Eventually, from my heart, I just thank all the government headed by the Prime Ministers and Head of the State, His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, to facilitate every single day to give the whole opinion, the whole freedom to speak for the youth and for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashraf.
I just 1 minute. I have to excuse myself to go to the Science Day because I have to be there, but I will be back again. Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned that the future is now and no truer words could be said, and we're extremely grateful. COI 17 became a reality thanks to you, Dr. Ashraf. Can we please have Simon Steele, the Executive Secretary, please share a few words?
Hello. Good morning to everybody. I want to start with an apology. Members of my team were up till 2 o'clock this morning, written an 8-page speech for me today. I'm not going to use it, so please, team, apologies. Looking at what we have here in the room, feeling the energy that is here in the room, I prefer to say something actually from my heart and something more personal. I mean, Zan, Liz, other focal points, youth focal points, and we've had a number of meetings in these few short days that we've been here, and you guys are impressive. You guys are really, really impressive. And we are just starting to get to know each other. I'm new in this role. I have a lot to learn, but many, many years ago, I was kind of in your shoes. So this is personal to me. I know what you're trying to do. I'm very, very aware of the massive challenge that we have globally. But I have a deep appreciation and sensitivity to the role that youth play in finding and bringing real solutions to the table in terms of addressing the climate crisis. And the promise that I make to you is that I will make the time. I will give you the time so that your voices can be amplified. Your messages, your ideas, the solutions that you bring are actually felt. It's not just about being heard. I keep saying in my speeches that we have entered, things need to be done differently now, that we have moved into a new era, this era of implementation. And that requires everybody to do all that they can, to bring all that they have to the table. And youth are critical. You are the future. The Secretary General made some statements a couple of days ago in terms of the role and the function of accountability setting and the role that the UNFCCC will have moving forward. The UNFCCC as the accountability chief. You, the youth, have a role in that. You need to hold us to account. You need to bring to the world's attention what we are not doing and what more we need to do. I welcome your comments. I want to feel your force and to channel that, whether it is in parliaments, whether that's in cabinet rooms, whether that's in boardrooms, whether that's in our living rooms, on the streets. The UNFCCC is already doing some incredible things in terms of engaging the youth. Some wonderful initiatives, programs. I want to build on those and find ways in which we can truly empower you more. So I look forward to working with you. This is just the start, And this is not just about this COP. Some incredible things are happening here. As you rightly said in your opening, this is not the first COP that youth are present. You've been on this for 30 years. 30 years ago, I was kind of doing my little thing, but in a different form. So I believe COP27, and it is, credit has to be given to the COP presidency for creating this space. I was at the COI event, the closing at the COI event a few days ago. You are being given space, and every COP that follows, more space will be provided. So as I said, I look forward to working with you. This is just the start. There's some exciting times ahead of us. Some exciting times ahead of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon. The youth look forward to working with you as well. Can we now please have Anne-Sophie Sarasola, Director of Climate Action Team, representing the UN Secretary General, for a few words, please.
Merci. Bonjour. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Greetings from the Secretary General who left yesterday. First of all, I wanted to thank, of course, the COP27 presidency, Minister Mahmoud. Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you to Yungo for the invitation. We had a very good discussion also yesterday with the Secretary General and with his Youth Advisory Group. I see some members here, and with the Youth Envoy of the COP27 presidency. I have a few things to say. First of all, I think the Secretary General would recognize himself a lot in what you are proposing. Yes, we are here because we need more climate justice. And yes, climate justice means an acceleration of emission cuts. Yes, it means more money for adaptation, 50% of climate finance. Yes, it means getting out of this COP with a clear roadmap to get some results, concrete results on loss and damage finance. Yes, it means completely changing the international financial system, which is currently profoundly unjust, unfair, and not providing money where it should go. And I know that Mahmoud has very clear ideas on that. It should start, of course, with a complete reform of the multilateral development banks, and I'm sure we'll hear more on that during this COP. Yes, climate justice means protection of human rights everywhere. It means that all constituencies, youth, indigenous peoples can feel safe and free to speak. And thank you again for the presidency for providing this space. So I think a lot of what you are proposing, the Secretary General would certainly defend and speak up on your behalf. And the second part is also what the COP27 presidency is proposing, which is acceleration of implementation. And I think it's fundamentally important to have that front and center, but not any implementation. The Secretary General has been talking a lot about fighting greenwashing, about fighting slow movers, about fighting fake movers. Implementation needs to be credible. It needs to be aligned with the goal of the Paris Agreement. It needs to be aligned with the goal that you presented on climate justice. And I think all of us here are united to make sure that this implementation is indeed aligned with climate justice and credibility. I won't repeat what Simon said. I think we all completely agree with that. The UNFCCC is about to enter in a new era, an era where the Secretariat will stand on acceleration, on justice, on ambition, and on accountability. Finally, I want to thank, again, the COP27 presidency for the acceleration that you yourself provided to youth engagement in COPs. You took a huge step forward. So thank you for that. Again, I heard Simon, I heard him say that the UNFCCC was thinking of ways of having the youth not only part of a consultation process, but getting closer and closer and closer to the negotiation. And I thank Minister Fouad for saying that it was very important for the presidency to make sure that youth were part of delegations, and this is something that our colleagues from the UN, we will certainly continue to encourage. And I know also that the resident coordinators such as Elena in many countries will be also strongly encouraged to ensure that youth are part of delegations, because at the end of the day, consultation is good, but deciding is even better, and this is where you have to get, and we will at the UN certainly help you get there. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Anna Marie. Last but not the least, we have His Excellency Mahmoud Morteen, UN High-Level Champion, please kindly give his remarks.
Right. A very good morning to you all. Congratulations for a job well done. You articulated your demand. You demonstrated your leadership. Good luck for all of us to implement what you have been working hard to achieve. I'll be very brief, and I'll just cite 3 people guiding my talk now. After, of course, thanking His Excellency the Minister of Youth, Minister Ashraf Subhi, Minister Yasmin Fouad for the hard work, and Minister Sameh Shukri for facilitating the participation here, and the Egyptian presidency at large. Let me build on the important point that Anne-Sophie just mentioned about the importance of inclusion. At some stage, we're just happy to see some diversity in the room. Young people, women, different ethnic groups, take some pictures, go home, and we are satisfied. This is misleading. As she said, you need to be part of the decision making. You need to be included in the process, and ideas need to be mainstreamed, not to be just shared in locked rooms. And this needs hard work based on what you did. So when I was chatting with my team, I think my team are all of young caliber, less than 25 years old. All of them are women, with the exception of one who's standing there. Ahmed is the only person who can be brought to attention here as a male representative, but the rest are women, younger than him. So, in a chat with the team and chat with my daughter, who's always skeptical, we're saying that Esther Duflo, the Nobel Economic Prize laureate, said in order to achieve the targets of the fights against climate change, you need to have 3 things: behavioral change, science, and finance. So this was my chat with my daughter and members of the team. She told me, well, congratulations, you failed in the 3 topics. Behavioral change is not happening. 51% of the world only see that climate change is an existential crisis based on a recent Gallup survey. Finance is not flowing. It's compromising our work in a financial system that is unjust, unfair, and inefficient, and takes forever in order to get your finance. And when it comes to science, it's protected by patents. So while technology is available worldwide, it's not flowing nicely where it should be going. So that all needs to be changed for an implementation COP. And I think this is a COP of last hope. If we are not implementing this agenda, we don't really have time to catch up with what we should be doing. So in the 3 lines of defense, in mitigation, there is some work. Last year, more than 80% of energy comes from renewable source. But still, the contribution of renewable energy to the overall mix of energy is less than 4%. You can celebrate whatever wind farms or solar plants or green hydrogen, but this is still small compared to the overall energy mix. This needs to change. We have the money globally. We have the ability to get things done with science, but this needs to move smoothly and transferred with where that should be. And then when it comes to resilience, there is a big issue of concern when it comes to finance, again, which has less than 20% of the share of finance. Secretary General of the UN has been always reminding us of the 50% share, 50% to mitigation and 50% to adaptation. In some countries, adaptation needs to be even supported further by the MDBs. And because of failure in mitigation and failures in adaptation, we're so sorry for our sisters and brothers in Pakistan that had their country covered by water, 1/3 of the country. So Zainab earlier spoke nicely about priorities, but that needs to be changed. And I'm very pleased that this COP had included formally the loss and damage on the agenda for the first time to be operationalized in a decent way. But again, how that is going to happen is basically through providing solutions based on science. Then two very final things. When it comes to knowledge sharing and changing behavior, I'm happy to share, and we're going to launch this Arabic version of this book. When I was in the Dominican Republic, I met this young gentleman, I think he's 13 years old, Francisco, from Colombia. And he's just telling us that we know it all, even as kids in schools, that the science approves what should be done. The science tells us that we are not on target, and he's even putting some suggestions on how to fix matters based on his readings. And Francesco and others from the youth and children who they are with us here, and I think they are going to be meeting the ministers, are going to be demonstrating some practical ideas on that. The final point is on the climate action at the local level. This country in Egypt, and through you as youth, I'd like to bring to your attention this experiment, which was basically answer a question, what's in it for us hosting COP27? So we have a localized approach, getting a competition under the auspices of the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and it has been implemented in all of the 27 governorates. The winners from this process are not just the mega project and the medium-sized enterprises, but the small and micro enterprises linked to the Decent Life programs, women-led projects, and youth startups. And this is transformation, and this is going to be a permanent feature in the way that we prepare for the COPs in the future. Not just listening to the great minds as you did today with your very specific demands. I congratulate you for them. But actually, you show us how can we implement them more efficiently where it matters at local communities. It's a great pleasure and honor to be with you, but I'll be more than happy to see, as mentioned by Mr. Steele and by Anne-Sophie, the progress when it comes to implementation reported. Accountability in our system when it comes to climate happens through your voices, through disclosure, through transparency of what works and what doesn't. You are the conscious of this work, you are the energy behind it, and you are the main implementers. So keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll definitely count on holding all the world leaders accountable for all the promises that are being made at COP27. We'll just close out the session with the closing remarks from Zainab. Can we have you on the stage, please?
Thank you so much, everyone, once again. I am very glad that our high-level champion has mentioned the science-based and evidence-based targets, and I think that's the way forward that we need. Our solutions should be backed by science so that we have evidence in hand to show the proof that climate is changing and it is affecting us. And in interest of time, we are going to close the session, and I would like to thank our dignitaries here, the parties, the COP27 Secretariat, and all the young people who are there who could not make it to COP due to the unavailability of resources or for whatever the reason it was. Thank you so much for your support and for helping us amplify the voices of young people. With this, I invite you all to attend the youth dialogues today and support the 4 key overarching themes of the Global Youth Statement that we have presented earlier. We have tabled our demands, and now we are looking towards the stakeholders to help us implement whatever solutions we have proposed. And to transform this ambition, we need to make this as inclusive as possible, and we need to have young people as a stakeholder on the table. We need the systemic and radical action, and we encourage parties to involve young people, to include them in the decision-making process and institutionalize the process, because it's not sustainable if it's not institutionalized. And we want to be creative in our solutions, and we want all of our stakeholders, be it private sector, be it the public sector, or be it the UN agencies. We want everyone to join hand with us and to help us conclude this journey towards the sustainable development, and we invite you all to lead with us. With this, again, thank you so much everyone for joining us here, and this is the closing of the session. Thank you.